Okay, hello everybody. This is Crystal Jordan with Reality Check right here on Rolling Out. And I am excited about today's conversation because we are talking with an actress from The Chi. Yes, I know a lot of people's favorite show is The Chi. It has become like a cult favorite. People love talking about it. And I'm, for one, excited about this upcoming season. But we have one of the youngest members of the cast joining me today. So trust me, you definitely don't want to go anywhere. Stay right there. In fact, put your cup down, put whatever you have down so you can stay locked into this conversation because we have the very adorable Genesis Hale joining us from The Chi. Let's get this girl in here.
Yay!
Hey,
All right, here we go. Hi.
how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am great. I am great. Now, like I said, a lot of people, The Chi is like one of those shows that people are addicted to, right? So it's like it has that cult following that, Lena Waithe has done a great job. I mean, you guys have so many people, so many stars that do cameos. What does it feel like being a part of this cast?
I mean, it's beautiful. I think this is like a very special group of people. You don't see too many casts like this one where we all come together and we all what's special about this show is just we all have our own innate abilities inside and outside the show, and I know that certain shows you don't really get to see that being displayed both on TV and off, but this is like it's beautiful because everybody loves to do their work,
Yeah.
as much as I love to do their work. I love to do work, so I think it's an equal effort, which is special.
It is very special. And then the fans just, pick up on all of that. And like I said, it's one of those shows that people can't wait to watch. They binge it, they talk about it, and they go back and watch it again. So that is
True.
a blessing. Before we get into this interview, I want to play because the trailer for the upcoming season looks absolutely amazing. So I want to play the trailer and then I want you to talk to us about what we can expect. Maybe you can give us some tips or just, some little juicy pieces from what's going to happen this season. So we're going to get into this trailer right now from the upcoming season of The Chi.
Sometimes things don't go the way you plan.
Feel like we're on the right track.
It's time to start a new chapter.
You keep me coming right back. Yeah, I might be.
I think I'm in love.
Again?
Yeah.
Good woman to turn your life around.
Like love. It's a battlefield.
People get the wrong idea about Chicago.
A lot of people have died. I want the city to start healing itself.
I'm not the one who's causing all the damage around here.
People want you to run for city council. If I don't do this, everybody loses. So what we gonna do? Whatever it takes.
This is what community is all about.
Seems like we're on the right track. Keep it up. You keep me coming right back.
Truth hurts, doesn't it?
You look drowning white dead.
The only way we gonna change Chicago is if we do it from the inside.
Oh my gosh. It looks so good. It looks like there's a lot of love this season. Would I be right with that assumption?
It's a lot of love. It's a lot of love. Usually it's equal throughout every season, but it's just us love all around for sure.
So what are you most excited about seeing this season? Like, do you get a chance? Do you know like how everyone else's storyline plays out? Well, first of all, let's talk about what are you excited with your storyline coming up this season?
I think for Maisha, she is getting to just explore herself as an artist. Whether that be like from season 4, she did music in an episode, and so that, or just in general. Thank you. Or just in general, doing what she loves to do, whether that be caring for people or expressing herself through art. Those are the things that I'm mainly excited about.
Let's talk about Maisha and her relationships and what's going on in that department because I got a clip here with her and is it Pop? from last season, and she's like, saying, you're not my dude, I'm not your girl. What is Maisha? What can we look forward to with Maisha in the love department this season?
Well, I mean, everybody feels like, in every teenage life, phase or whatever, there's a time where it's just you're cooling. You're not doing much. You're not trying to impress nobody. That's usually the time when you look your best.
Mm-hmm.
But she's cooling. She's doing what she does while Papa does what he does. It's But stay tuned. Because we never know.
You never know. Well, that's interesting. I do think that's great. It sounds like she's doing her, and she's putting her first, which is important for everyone to do. How do you relate to the character yourself? Because you're so young, and you're on this. I mean, you're 12 years old, right?
Right now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm 17.
You're 17. Oh my gosh. Okay, we'll try to edit that. I thought your bio said you were 12. So you're 17. You've been acting since you were really young, obviously.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's where the discrepancy was. Let's talk about that then. You've been acting since you were really young. I know you went on the road with your mother and kind of saw what she was doing, and that led to you, doing this yourself and being able to be homeschooled and watch what she was doing. And now you are on a, one of the most popular shows on television, still under the age of 18. So how has it been for you? Being able to get into your career at such a young age?
Well, you know what? Honestly, it's God driven. A lot of the things that I do is because of who we know. Not saying connections, but the power that you have over your life and whatever favor that you find in your journey of finding higher wisdom and light or whatever. But yeah, I think that's really pretty much all I can say is just it was a journey. It took a lot to get to where I am, especially being bullied, going through that phase and finding out who I was, like really, without other people's opinions of me forming that. And even then with the show, having to now learn, in addition to like maybe barely just finding out who I am, figuring out how to remove who I am from that character and be somebody completely different. So it's definitely been a journey, but I do know that the steps are ordered, and I'm just grateful to really even be here.
Well, let's delve a little bit deeper into that, because I love the fact that you went through something, being bullied, and now you're helping other young people deal with that. And I think a lot of people assume if you're being bullied and you're going through things and then you get an opportunity to be on TV, that makes everything better. But that doesn't necessarily make everything better. Can you talk a little bit about how you were able to find yourself and kind of overcome the issues that from dealing with what other people were saying, how you were able to realize that what's important is inside, and then have the confidence to not care about what other people were saying, and then to be able to help other people get to that place as well?
Okay, well, in all honesty, first, I know that because it is so difficult to not listen to other people's opinions, I can't say that I didn't.
Okay.
I do know that it's still constantly a struggle, just because there are so many influences around, especially with being in the industry. There are so many things that people want to tell you and people want to show you. They want to make you out to be whoever. And that's kind of hard not to listen to it unless you have a deathly clear idea of who you want to be, which as no teenage person really does ever. But yeah, it's as long as you have a base idea of what you like, and then you follow those things, that helps clear out a lot of that noise. And then when you get something big, big and distracting, like a TV show, where everybody, Jesus Christ, I'm so sorry. I'm gonna say this question over. I have a cat, and he's just doing the most today.
Okay. It's okay. Now. I have a dog, and she is doing the most. You just don't see her right now.
I'm so sorry. Can you ask this question again?
Yeah, no problem. I tell you what, if you show us the cat, I will show you the dog, because the dog is like causing all types of trouble on my side. So I guess
Listen, hold on. Give me 1 second. Says no, because you want to be in it so bad. Look, see, say hi, say hello. This honestly, I apologize. Say you're sorry.
What's his name?
His name is Mikey.
All right, Mikey. Mikey wanted some TV time. He said, "Hey, Genesis is on the Shy. I'm trying to break in and get my time."
I don't understand this. I had a dog too, but you know, she transitioned, but she would never. It's all I'm saying is she would never. That was my homie. Anywho, yeah. So
okay, so let's go back a little bit and talk about that, because you said that it's hard not to listen to what people say, but I think other young people, knowing that you are on this television show, so they can see you and you had this level of success. Hearing that you went through something that was difficult, I think would help them as well. Can you talk a little bit about how it felt when you were going through being bullied, and how did you start to come out of that? How did you start to like overcome, or at least be able to see like, I don't have to deal with this?
Well, okay, so going through it was hard, just because it's the aspect of people talking about you in ways that you didn't like, or saying things about you, forming these ideas that you didn't know, and they come out in the form of jokes, which, because they're funny, everybody laughs, and it's a uniform thing, a unanimous feeling of shame, which is normal for every aspect of bullying. So going through that, I wouldn't say it wasn't anything different from the life of any other kid. But getting out of it, I resorted to a serious amount of people pleasing, which, although yes, it did get me out of that specific moment, that took, how old was I? I think I was like 8. It took me about 8 or 9 extra years to just heal myself and get out of that cycle of now trying to do what everybody wants me to do just so that they don't bully me. You see what I'm saying? It was a big like fiasco of that, but now my goal is to just teach people, hey, in order to get out of this specific thing, you don't have to people please. That's not what we want you to do. That's not healthy. Bottom line, it's just, it creates, again, a cycle. Now you're stuck doing this when you're 30 because you never got out of it when you were 8 or 18. So it's just, that's my goal right now, is getting people A, out of the cycle, B, learning how to never get in the cycle in the first place, but although it's going to happen, and C, finding people who you care about to help repair you.
That's really good. And I think the desire, or the kind of default to become a people pleaser, is something I think even adults struggle with, and because age doesn't necessarily correlate to our experiences all the time. So sometimes you may be going through something at 18 that someone else is going through at 30. It just depends,
Very
so
true.
I think that is a huge thing. What about finding what your true calling is? Because obviously, with you having a love for acting and for kind of following your mother's footsteps, that had to build your confidence in some ways as well. Do you think that was also a part of helping you to heal yourself?
Actually, yeah, because in my family, we take pride in the things we know how to do. So when it comes down to acting, because I grew up in the industry for so long, and my mom was I learned by example. So because she was on the road for forever, I got continuous examples, and I learned how to get good at reflecting what she did. So when it came to expressing emotion, when it came to showing myself loudly and boldly, I was able to do that, making jokes, like with the training that she would give me, or she would put me in everything. She put me in camps, classes, just for miscellaneous stuff. But certain things I got from that taught me, like, hey, you got to be funny in this area, or you got to know when to shut up in this area. You got to learn when to look sad. All these things I was learning, and then I got confident in doing them because I knew them. And so then when it came time for me to go to like actual school, because I was homeschooled on the road, I went to actual school, and that's when the bullying started. Certain things I knew they just couldn't talk to me about. So it was just like, when it came down to, nobody was touching me in a TV show. Nobody was touching me in an audition. No, you like, there was nothing you could say. And because my father does music as well, I knew music, so I could rap. Doing just music in general, nobody was touching me on that. It was like unthinkable to me. And so when they would talk about me, it would just be like, okay, now I can resort to the things that I know. I'm doing this in my own time. So by the time, you get all these fat jokes off you, I done made like 4 songs. You see what I'm talking about? Like there are still ways to get around it, but I stuck with the basis of what I know. And I knew that whenever somebody touched that area, that they ran out of jokes, because there were certain things you just couldn't talk to me about.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. No, that makes a lot of sense. And kudos to your parents for being able to kind of help you cultivate and build confidence. I think that's a perfect example of why it's important to allow our kids to dream, find what they're good at, and then help them become better, because then it gives them that level of confidence that, that you have, that you were able to take. And it did help you to heal yourself. What do you think about, as far as like, we talk about body positivity a lot now, and you mentioned some of the jokes that kids made when you were younger were about body image and body style. What is your advice to other young women that may be dealing with that same thing? We live in a very image conscious culture right now. Social media has everybody like photoshopping their pictures and themselves. So what advice would you give yourself, a young girl that's like in the position that you were years ago, if she's struggling with that and kind of comparing herself and listening to what other people have to say about her body image?
Ooh. Comparison is gonna happen. That's just what life is. That's what's forever gonna be. Even if they change it and flip the scale completely on its head, now the more smaller framed people are going to compare themselves to women with big bodies. That's just what life is. So don't try to avoid comparison, but definitely look at what the truth is. If you know that because, like me, because I'm big, for whatever reason, I know that if I want to change it, I can. And that if I do change it, it's going to be a problem for the girls, because now I'm fully confident in what I'm doing. And even then, if I choose not to change it, it's going to be a problem for the girls, because I'm fully confident in what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So it's no way to get around comparison, but it's definitely a way to get confident in the small things that you have. Like, I don't know, I have a friend who just has a naturally curvy figure, but she's plus size. And so because a lot of people are looking at her stomach, she's not paying attention to the thing that she is confident about, that she loves so much, which is just her figure in general. So now all the things she talks about is her stomach. And I'm like, friend, we know, I know what's back here and what's up here. You're okay. You know what I mean? But these conversations, I'm just trying to tell her, look at the things that you like.
Yeah.
And then notice that no one's talking about those things because you like them. So now figure out a way to like the thing that they're talking about. And then maybe you'll get to a point where the stuff that they're saying, because apparently they still don't like it, it doesn't affect you at all. It affects you less.
Right.
Yeah, that would be my main thing is that.
Do you think that it's important to have representation of all different types of body styles and body shapes and genders and all that on television? I think there's a movement now where we do see a lot of different looks. We see people from different cultures and backgrounds and sizes and everything, where television hasn't been like that, in the past. Do you think it's important for people to see themselves on television, regardless of what they look like?
I think that it's useful. I believe that it is definitely useful for people to see what they look like in an area of high attention. However, it still comes down to the point of what they're doing, because a lot of the times big people, or specifically big women, are used as comic relief or mild anger. And although, yes, there's a plethora of big women on TV right now, which is, yes, go us, but still, what are we doing? Why are we making corny jokes? Why are we always the one to talk about food? Why are we always the main center of attention when it comes to being angry or telling somebody what to do?
Yeah.
It's similar to what used to happen for like kid shows back in the day, where it would be like that one black girl was like and everything that she did was this. She had long hair, and it was a whole minute of just her exploiting herself negatively. The next swirl, she never got the guy unless it was a plot twist at the end. It always had to be a just in case scenario or a moment when she got it, because it was like, oh my god, like we didn't even think, like, what, are you serious? But now they just took it out of the race spectrum and put it on the size spectrum, which is still bad. So it's like, yes, it is very useful for them to see themselves on TV and be like, yeah, I could get on TV. But when you get there, friend, I'm gonna need you to be able to be in the position where you know that this is not still where we're supposed to be.
Right. There's still work to be done. And I love that you point that out. It's not okay just to give us a role, but make it the same stereotype and almost like reinforce those stereotypes with the casting. So that makes a lot of sense. Well, I'm going to play this clip, and this is Maisha doing her thing on the Shy. And so I want you to talk a little bit about this clip, and then we'll ask some more questions about this upcoming season. Here is a scene with Maisha and Papa from the Shy.
Which clip is this? Because I can't see the clip.
I'm a bad chick, bad as it get. Fashion over 55 red wig. Manicure tips.
Hey, is that dude dance with Maisha?
I don't know, but I'm about to find out.
Come on, man, just let it be.
I will. Right after I introduce myself. You got business with my lady?
My bad.
Yeah, it is your bad, bro.
Papa, I am not so lady no more.
What?
You made this party for me, right?
Yeah, but you just can't be dancing.
Let me enjoy.
My bad.
See at the front gate. NASCAR in traffic. Vroom, vroom, get past it. Fashion over 55 red wig. Manicure tips, mention my lip. Vroom, wig.
All right. So that was a scene where we see Papa comes over. He confronts the guy that Maisha is dancing with, and Maisha has to straighten him out and say, I'm not your girl. And then he goes on about his way. He looks a little sad, my Genesis. He looks a bit sad. So can you talk a little bit about your relationship from the series? And I know you said earlier that Maisha's doing her, but what goes into that plot twist? Because you can definitely tell there was tension on the dance floor in that scene.
Well, yeah. So the number one thing that people get at me about when they see me on the street is, you shouldn't have did Papa like that, or you didn't have to do my boy like that. And it's funny because they don't pay attention to the part where he literally plugged himself during Maisha's interview. And they did, like, I feel like it crosses everybody's head, because they're like, no, because you told him that y'all was together and you should have said it. I'm like, yo, wait a minute. Because if somebody was doing this thing to you, if you were in the height of your recognition at that time, first of all, let's take it all the way to the back. Let's go all the way back, because apparently people don't be hearing me. Season 1, Maisha was like talked about badly, but she was also aggressive. So she had to fight her way to just be viewed as comic. That's A.
Mm-hmm.
Seasons 2 and 3, you got to see how Maisha was an actual person with actual responsibilities and reasons as to why she was as aggressive as she was.
Mm-hmm.
Season 4, her and Papa, they came together and they were like a power couple because now Maisha didn't have to fight for normalcy. She didn't have to fight to be herself, and she could actually have the time to properly care for Papa.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Because in 4 still, Papa wasn't getting a lot of traction on his podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Maisha said, hey, because somebody was supposed to show up and I forgot who, but he didn't come.
Mm-hmm.
And Papa was so mad. And he was like, ah. So he was just upset. Maisha said, okay, I will share my art. Never before. She never did this ever.
Mm-hmm.
So she was just like, fine, I'll give you this thing and then let's see what it does. So you mean to tell me that because she gave him a piece of this art that she has never shown anybody, and like it's a real soft side of her because artists, we sensitive about our stuff.
Absolutely.
She now, because she gets attention for it, she does a whole magazine with like a dress and a jacket, and it's a whole vibe, like with the crown and whatever. Now you upset because she's doing an interview? Make it make sense to me. Why you being weird to me? I am confused. But that's the part that I'm talking about, is people are so quick because she now said, you're not my guy no more. Mm-hmm. Because I told you I needed space. We talked about that and you agreed to it. So I applaud you as a man for listening to the boundaries that I've set. Mm-hmm. But when now it comes to time for me to live my life how I was going to live it previously, now without fighting for normalcy and without having time to care for somebody who clearly wasn't going to care for me in a time where I needed that specific support, now it's a problem. Now it's you got business with my lady, you do. Go ahead, please. I don't want to hear it. That's all. So it's just
no, that's real. And I think audiences sometimes, I do think we still have the idea that women should be, now that he's on board and he sees her value and she's in a better space, maybe he's a little bit jealous, just a little bit.
That be the problem. That's the only thing. It's just like, yo, now all of a sudden, because I want to get lit. Because at first your podcast was doing well, and I didn't take that from you. Continuously, I have stated, or not me, because I'm not the character. Maisha has stated through and through, time and time, that she is a supporter of this man's podcast, regardless of whatever situation it is in. Even in the beginning stages when nobody was there, she fully supported it. So why is it not mandatory that you support her in the same way by simply relinquishing control and taking a back seat for 2 seconds and just being like,
just to be supportive, which is what she has given to you. All right, audiences, you guys heard it from Maisha herself, aka Genesis. Let me ask you for your personal self, because we know you're not the character, but we also know you're very passionate about what Maisha's going through.
Yes.
Would you date someone in the entertainment industry, do you think? And if so, how do you think you could balance that? Because I know we see examples all the time. That's what we talk about a lot on this show, is all the different examples of celebrities dating. And do you think that would be a good option? Because sometimes people can understand what you're going through if they're artists as well. But then also sometimes, like in the case with Maisha and Papa, there's a little jealousy if one ekes a little further than the other, or, things are not quite balanced depending on the timing. So what are your thoughts? Would you date someone in the business? And if so, would you want to date someone that was, on the same level as you, or would you want to date someone that was, where do you see yourself fitting in if you had to say what you think would be comfortable for you?
Ooh, well, for Genesis, I personally would not, but I do see how it is useful. Like, so, okay, let's just say if I did, the only problem that we would have would be who is going to take us to work? Because I'm not getting up at 5:30 in the morning to drive you nowhere. That is so dead. Also, it's just in general, like for interviews, if I don't feel like going to this red carpet event and you gotta go and they need somebody to be there, it's a whole bunch of technical like ideas that create stress. And I know that a lot of relationships don't work well when stress is in that situation.
Right.
So unless you are okay with having to also be a part of somebody's brand as being in that relationship, don't get into it. I feel like I wouldn't, because although yes, I'm down for being the brand, it's just a lot of things that I think I would benefit from being with somebody outside of my industry, because I'm busy. Now you get to understand what I'm going through. And then I bring you in and now you have a heightened understanding of what goes on behind the scenes. So it's just a cool thing when you're not over there. And don't nobody know you. No one knows you, so I can go sit down and I have nothing to worry about because you're over there and we're over here. That's it.
Yeah.
So no, but same level. In regards to the level, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I would, I'm not gonna say. It is hard being an aspiring actor. So I would say you would have to have done something, and I can't say that I require it, but it's just hard because of the level that you're gonna look at me at from down here.
Because you're on the top, you're on a number one show. That's got to be a lot of pressure.
It's so much pressure. And because I'm seeing it as this job that I love to do, you're looking at it as stats. So that, again, creates stress. Because I can't explain to you what happened at work today.
Yeah.
Like, because you're going to be like, oh, girl, bye. Because you always do this. You get to da-da-da-da.
They wishing it. Like, I would love to be on the set doing that. Yeah.
Now everything is if personally I wouldn't let blah, 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 or I would have done. No. So I would say if I was in that specific position to date somebody in the industry, you would either have to be above me or somewhere in this area, because either we gonna fight it out together and we gonna come together and go up, or you gonna bring me up here, and that is it.
I'm not mad at that. Those are some reality checks, audience. Just some reality checks that Genesis is throwing out there. I love what you said about if you're going to date someone in the industry, you have to be willing. You have to understand that you're being a part of their brand, not just the dating. So that puts a whole nother level of pressure on a dating relationship, which is why I understand why a lot of celebrities want to keep it private, at least until they're in a stronger place, because that's a lot of pressure. Being a part of someone's brand is different than just, loving that person. That's a whole lot of responsibility. You do something that reflects badly in the media, all of a sudden it's affecting their business. It's a lot that goes into that. But anyway, let's get back to The Chi. So we know season 5 is coming. What is next besides this show that continues to be a favorite? What's next for Genesis besides The Chi? What else do you want to do?
So for me, for Genesis, I'm exploring music. That is my current thing that's right now. And I'm looking forward to being able to show my audience what I can do with that, because they have seen little bits of it. But putting it together as an actual career or as a job or just a venture, period, I think would be fun for them to see. So that's my main focus right now.
Okay. What is it? What do you love about music? Like, what type of music do you want to do? Where's your sweet spot when it comes to that?
I think just everything about music in general, but if we really gonna talk about it, I just thought of it, the creative process, being physically in the studio and hearing the song being made, making the song. I think that is the best part of music in general, just because you hear it at a different quality and it's because you made it. But just because I grew up around music, and my father, because he governs basically everything I know about just artistry in that area, he's taught me a lot, and I look up to him when it comes to that aspect of things.
Mhm.
And so that's really kind of what I love about music. Music is attached to my father, and the world is really run by music. And so certain things that I listen to, it can change my mood, it can change what I'm doing for that day, the following choices I'm about to make. And then knowing that now you have that power, using it to your ability to either heal people, or even if you're gonna be evil about it, change it in your favor. Fine, because that's just the way that the industry works. It happens. So if you're gonna do it, make sure that it works.
Yeah.
So yeah.
What talk is because I don't people may not know exactly what your dad does. Can you share a little bit about what your dad does and how you were able to kind of watch that growing up? In addition to your mother acting and being on stage, you also had the music part. So they just created a very talented, very talented little girl in you. So talk to people about your father, since you mentioned him a few times.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, I definitely had the cheat codes. If we're gonna talk about it, I had all the cheat codes necessary. But my dad, he's an MC, and so for a while he did just his own thing, and then he ended up partnering with K Love, K Love the poet, who started Lyric, which is like Your Rhymes Inspire Creativity. It was a youth performance group where they just went around and they did performances, which were actually, those were the best like performances I've seen in my life ever. Just everybody was talented and they loved to do what they wanted to do, but he fathered that, and along with Caleb, so they worked together and did that. And then directly after that, I believe he ended up starting MC School, which is just teaching again youth how to take that mastering of the ceremony in music, and using it for good. So now they are also peace ambassadors with music. So it's a beautiful thing that he did. Yeah, for
Very
sure.
nice. Very nice. Last question about music. Are you rapping? Are you singing? I know you do poetry also. Where do you see your music falling in the spectrum from like hip hop, R&B, soul? Where's Genesis at?
I think my core area is R&B for sure. Cause hip hop it's a genre. You got to be able to hop in the bag for our, like, you have to hop in the situation for hip hop. And a
Yeah.
lot of times I just don't believe personally that I can survive there. They go hard about the hip hop, and I say, you got it. Listen, you have it. But R&B is that perfect mix between hardcore hip hop, and then melodic soul if you want to do
Yeah.
it.
I love
So, and then poetry is everywhere. So,
poetry is
you
in
know,
all it's in all of that. Well, this has been awesome. I think we definitely got a chance to kind of get to know Genesis a little bit more. We definitely have gotten to know Maisha over the last 4 seasons. So tell people when they can see season 5, because you got some hardcore fans like waiting on this. We saw in that trailer earlier Atlanta's own Jason Weaver. We see Candy Burris, of course, Jacob Lattimore, so many, Luke James, so many big names. So much is coming. Let people know when they can tune in finally to season 5.
so season 5 airs June 24th on our streaming platform, and then that following Sunday on cable. So make sure that if you want to get us earlier, 24, make sure you subscribe to Showtime, and be ready, because we are coming and we are here.
We're coming. Well, Genesis, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We hope that you'll come back and bring music. When you come back, we want to hear some music. But we were definitely going to be tuning in. Everyone here rolling out loves The Shy. I mean, we supported pretty much all the cast. And so we're excited to have you now as a part of our rolling out family. So we're definitely going to be watching closely and looking for that music. So we expect you back soon.
Thank you so much. I will definitely be here.
Okay. All right. Well, have a great one. Thank you so much for joining us today.
All right. You too.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, you all. Well, thank you for joining me for another edition of Reality Check. I think that we're going to enjoy watching this season. And I love being able to talk to actresses because you get a little bit more insight about their character, especially characters that are so pronounced and those living, that live loud, like Maisha on The Shy. drop a note down low and let us know what you thought of this interview. And if you're going to be tuning into The Chi, what's your favorite character, share all that with us in the comments. All right. We will definitely be back. You know, another reality check will be right here next week. I've been your host, Crystal Jordan. It's been my pleasure to share today's reality check. Remember, I thought that reality check that Genesis dropped was awesome. If you're going to be in a relationship in the entertainment industry, you could potentially be being a part of that person's brand. But really, I think that applies to life, period. Whoever you connect yourself with definitely affects your life and your reputation and what you have going on, especially because most people are sharing their significant others on social media. So just be very careful about who you choose to connect yourself with, because it could definitely reflect on you in the future. With that being said, this is Crystal Jordan for Reality Check, and I am out of here. I will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.